All right, everybody, we are live. We're going to cut a really important clutch. Let me put you into the holder here really quick. There we are. And before I cut these things, I do want to address something. Let me get the colors to be right here. Is that what I want to do for that? Yes, I believe we used that one. That's better. One thing I want to share with you guys as we get some people on here. Maybe that's not it. Maybe that's not the one I like. Actually, it's too. Well, let's go no filter. Fuck it. The camera doesn't always pick up the colors really well. We do no filter, but we're going to do it. What's going on, I see reptiles? So here's the thing. I want to go ahead and tell you this now before we even get to the cutting when people start to show up. We've gotten a few people say, hey man, you need a gimbal. I didn't even turn on the lights, and I'm not going to because I'm here by myself. What's going on, Kira? Shar. And I kind of balked at that, right? I was like, we're not using a gimbal. I've got one. I don't know where it's at. And that's true. I don't know where it is. And I never really liked using it. But it's not going to be a problem for much longer. What's going on, Scott and Monty? Here's why. I'm not using it today because I haven't got it all set up yet. But I am going to use it very, very soon. We will be, switching to a laptop setup. And no, I don't think you ever should. Summer Slam Hamity Ham. I will get to that. Awesome. Well, this isn't even on Patreon yet. We will do the Patreon after this. And if you're new to Patreon, what you'll do is you'll look for a link. I'm going to post a post on here, and you'll be able to click that link and go to the exclusive Patreon video. When we're done here, we'll talk a little bit more about this clutch. We are going to go to a laptop setup, and the laptop will have a 4K mounted cam that we can unmount and show things and whatever else we want to do. Yeah, Chandler's Wildlife is really tame. That's why he just got bit by a cobra. And I know that's wild caught. It wasn't wild caught, y'all. And I can explain why that. If that was wild caught, it'd have been in storage. I can prove it, but that's not what this is really about. I'll cover that question in a minute. Why that's a horribly bad idea and why you shouldn't do that. Yeah, we'll just lay it all out on the line because I have a big issue with that. Anyway. Back to the case at hand. So we're going to have a laptop which will allow us to do a couple things. One, be a more stable filming platform when we go live. Two, it will also, and the camera will mount to our tripod if we want. So we can still use a tripod. We will be tethered to a cord. We'll have a remote to start, all kinds of cool stuff. It will also allow us to set this up from the laptop, which will allow us to turn on closed captioning, which we can't do now. Hey, Python Addiction. I was just talking about what our future setup's going to be, my man. So, we will be switching to that, so you'll get those closed captioning. You'll get I've got all the equipment. It's all right here. It was actually donated to us, which is awesome. I didn't ask if I could say who was donated by, but if they okay it, then I'll share that information. If they don't, then I won't. So that's kind of how that's going to work. But it's going to make a better filming platform. So there you go. So it was donated to us by Python Addiction. He wanted us to have that set up to improve our streaming and everything else. So we're going to use that. We just haven't had a chance to set up. It just came in. We verified everything worked, but we're going to have to figure out how we're going to set up and plug it in and all that. We were told, Kurt was saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, that in order for it to work properly, you have to hardline it. We can't run off the Wi-Fi, or will it just not work? Will we have some? Because I could set up off the Wi-Fi a lot quicker than I can hardlining. My thought was set it up off the Wi-Fi for now and then hardline it down the road because the internet comes in upstairs and we are downstairs. So that was kind of my thought process. Let me know if that'll work for now, and if it will, then hopefully I'll have that running maybe by the next live. The next live's in 2 days, so it may take a little longer. We'll have to see because we'll probably have to get some drivers set up and whatnot. That's really good. All right, so a few more things. Gotcha. So we'll probably get it running off the Wi-Fi and then hardwire if we need to. We actually have a really solid Wi-Fi here. We run the mid-tier for what we have because everything is fiber optic, and we put in a nice high-end router so we can reach it down here really well. And we typically will hit about 100 megabits a second down here, upload and download. So it usually runs pretty good. It runs like shit when I forget to turn on the Wi-Fi on my phone, and I figure that out pretty fast. So that is that. Now, on to the first question I wanted to address about, can you tame down a venomous snake if you have it from birth? Let me put it to you this way. This is why I say no. It's not that you can't tame one down. You absolutely probably could. Anything can be tamed down to an extent, right? But I want you to think about the tamest snakes that we deal with, probably ball pythons, right? And if you've been around them enough, you've been bit. I mean, it just happens. I've been bit by ball pythons hundreds of times. We got hundreds of ball pythons. It doesn't happen very often, but it happens. If I were to take one of my rattlesnakes from birth and try to tame it down, could I be successful at that? Probably. But it only takes one time of a wrong move or spook in that for me to get bit. And that's not fair to that animal. That's not fair to me. And that's not fair to other venomous keepers. You know, when we as venomous keepers do dumb shit, we are going to affect that entire hobby because it just makes great news media. It makes great news media for every story we've ever seen where that happens, where, you know, the man goes to hospital for being bit by his pet gaboon viper, and his house was a house of horrors and contained hundreds of snakes. It's literally my house. Not all of them are venomous, but by God, that's my house, right? And, you know, it just turns into a feeding frenzy, and then people get pissed, and then the laws get passed, and you got 5 people, right? 5 people saying, hey, no, this shouldn't happen, and every angry, pissed off Karen in the world, and everybody who doesn't understand about that now clamoring in your area to pass more rules, and we lose our rights. So no, I don't think it should be done. It's not a matter of if it can, it's the simple fact of risk versus reward. So, you know, luckily the bite that recently happened out of country, so I don't think we're going to have that blowback. But, you know, it's funny, if you're in the venomous community or venomous pages and anything else, everybody and their brother could see that bite coming. Everybody. Not in that moment. I'm not saying he was slow or anything like that. But what I'm saying is, watching those behaviors, you knew that eventually that was going to happen. You knew it. And then to go so far as to highlight the bite, slow-mowing it 15 times for clout, is not a choice that I would have made. No, he made that choice, and that's okay. That's on him. He does him. This isn't me saying what he should do with his life or vice versa. I'm telling you what my feelings are and my choices. I want to make that abundantly clear. It is not how I would have done that. So, I don't think trying to tame down a venomous snake is a good idea. If you're around them a lot, I mean, if you've worked with venomous snakes enough, is free handling possible? Sure is. Have I done it? Yeah. Have I done it a lot? Define a lot, I guess. But I don't advocate it, I don't film it, and I don't think it's a behavior that really needs to take place, you know, a lot. I don't do it very often. I mean, it's really a rarity that I do that. And usually it's just for a few seconds because, again, risk reward. And I don't want to be the guy who cost everybody else their rights. I don't want to be that guy. You know, so that's just my feeling. So in answer to your question, can you tame down a venomous snake? I guess, can you? Yes. Should you? Absolutely fucking not. It is just not worth it. There's no good reason to do that. You know, it's good for the snake to recognize you if it does. I'm sitting in a room right now with probably 9 or 12 venomous snakes that all can make noise with their tails, and none of them are making a damn sound. Okay, they know who I am. I'm not messing with them. I can see them. They can see me. They don't care that I'm here. That's about what you're looking for. You're looking for that level. You're not really looking for it's my pet like my ball python. Okay. Hopefully that answers that. Enough of that good shit. So, and we are all having a great day, I think. Yeah, at least I'm having a wonderful day. But what are we cutting today? Well, we pick it up here. It's going to be Clutch 21. I think I already wrote on the title before we even cut them. This is Hellfire to Super Pastel Axanthic. We have 5 eggs. And so we have really good odds. So what are we looking for in this clutch? Well, it's really simple, man. So as we were working through this Hellfire project, right, which we've always called a project. We've never said, David C., you didn't miss anything but me going a little bit of a mini rant because somebody asked if you should tame down venomous snakes. Like, if you can't do that, which I think is a horrible idea, you know. And then somebody mentioned it seems like Chandler's tamed one down. I don't know if that was in jest or not. I'm going to tell you guys a little something, too, really quick on that. And this is just a film industry thing, right? And if you don't believe me, you can go back in the annals of Brian Barczyk videos, and you can find a video where he actually shows how he did this. Like, he did a video and then showed how he did it. You can look through mine and find one out herping for rattlesnakes and it shows the same thing. So whenever you see those snakes like that, and somebody's in a spot, okay? They're in a spot. And in that particular bite video, we're in one spot. You know what I mean? And we're looking for these snakes, and we find all kinds of these venomous snakes all right in the same spot. I pretty much call bullshit immediately. And the reason I do that is I want you to think when you've gone out and looked for animals. Are they all right there? Flip over, like, oh, look, there it is. So, no, they're not all going to be right there. It's just not how it fucking works, y'all. So, what tends to happen is people will catch them. I'll get to that, Kara. It's a double-edged sword on that, and I'll talk what I mean. I got to be very careful because I don't like to badmouth anybody, and I'm not going to badmouth anybody. So just bear with me for a second. You know what I mean? So what you'll do is you'll go catch those snakes early. So they could have been wild snakes. Bring them to a spot contained, and then you'll set them up for filming. I've done that myself. But we did it, and then we showed how we did it. Like we made a video talking about this is how it gets done. This is how TV shows do it. Or you're going to procure somebody that has those snakes in captivity, take them out, and then do that for filming. What's going on, Jeremy? So that is kind of how that happens, right? That's not uncommon. That's not a knock. That's just how it gets done. And then I want you to think, too, we had the snake bite happen, and we go to the hospital. We go to the hospital overnight, and the next day we come back, and in the same area, we pick up the same snake and release it in the same spot. Is that snake going to be in the same spot? Going to be hanging out there? And if it's hanging out there and it's a wild snake, do we need to catch and release it in the same spot? Not really. It was already there. But when you just watch it as entertainment, those are the things you don't pick up on, myself neither, early on until I started doing this. On the question of do I think Chandler and Tyler are bad for the community? So let me put it to you this way. I think that Chandler and Tyler, we'll lump them together for what I'm about to say, have the ability to do some very great things. They are entertaining. They are knowledgeable. They have a platform. They do some wonderful things. Are there some practices that I personally wish they would do differently? Yeah, there are. But that's a pretty much. I'm not even gonna. Okay. Bye-bye. Yeah, stupid question. You just get put in timeout. The next stupid one, if you're just making shit to spam, you're going to be gone. But I do wish that there's things that people, but they're not the only. Everybody, like, you can't pick a breeder. People can think of things that they wish I would do differently, I'm sure. There's people who wish I wouldn't drop the F-bomb as much as I do, and things like that. So are they bad for the community? No, I don't think they're bad for the community. I'm not going to say one person's inherently bad for the community unless they're a dogfighting piece of shit like Samson Pruitt. Okay, he's bad for the community. Chandler, Tyler, no, they're not bad. But when you have that big of a platform, right, everything you do gets amplified. And it also turns into you have to do things to keep that platform. So it's a double-edged sword. I understand that. I do wish we would do some things differently. It's just me, but they're going to have to live with what they do. But no, I think they can be very good for the community in a lot of ways. The same way if Steve Irwin was running around today, half the shit Steve did, and goddamn Steve Irwin's my hero. Like he was when I was a kid. Probably wouldn't be tolerated in this world of, we all have to be right? But we wouldn't be without Steve Irwin. So, no, not bad. That's a good question, though. I mean, you kind of put me on the spot, made me really think to answer that, and kind of have to think before I did, just out of how I really thought and felt. So that was a really great question. All right, let's cut some eggs. So what I'm hoping to learn from this clutch is everything in here is going to be pastel. Everything's going to be head axanthic, right? So we want to know, and we probably will not get full answers today, is does a Hellfire pastel look like a super pastel? Again, I told you guys, for those who have been following this, when we first started this project, we were going to work from the premise of trying to prove it not to be new, right? My goal is to prove it not to be new. And when you can't do that, and you work all the avenues to prove it to not be new, of course I'd love it to be new, then, that's how you prove something new or not. You have to, if all I did was operate in the theory that it's new and started putting the things I'd look at was cool with and not try to prove it to not be new, then I'm literally doing one of the things that's my biggest bitch in the ball python industry, and that would be we'd be naming something, calling it something, selling it as something without saying it's possibly anything else and all of that. So we're not going to do that. We're just not going to do that. So let me flip you guys around here. I can do this. What's the latest and greatest? Still sunset? I don't know, man. It's every day has got something new, It just kind of depends on what you're into. Hold on, I gotta remember how to do this part here. Is it this part? Maybe. Nope, not that part. Well, I know there's a way to do that. Oh, yeah. There we go. All right. There, that's pretty good. Whoop. We may have to... Oh, I haven't had to work like this in a while. All right, so I'm going to be trying to, you know what, I'm going to have to lift you guys up just one notch because it's just not stable enough. Well, it's going to have to be. Sorry, I know we're causing some motion sickness. I'm just trying to get that where I want. There we go. Now I'll leave it alone. So we got 5 healthy eggs. That's what was laid, was 5. We didn't lose anything in here, which is really good. Whoop. Trying to find a spot where I can work, and you can see. Now my plan was to cut these tomorrow, but you know, we have a normal video posted tomorrow, so I decided to go ahead and do it a day early. Right away, interesting. It's going pretty good. I'm not able to read the comments really well because I'm looking at them upside down right now. Interesting. So, can't see the head on there, but the coloration is pretty light. But you know what I'm not seeing? Not seeing blushing like I would expect. But also, could be just developing some color a little bit. We are a day early. We are at like about 55 days here, I believe. Well, so that's pastel, right? No doubt about it. Look at the peachy color on this one. So again, what we don't know yet is that going to be new. When we see the head, we'll have some more ideas. Like to see a few more of these combos. You know, super pastels tend to be a much lighter color than pastels with an extremely blushed head. I would expect the color to be lighter, but super pastels also tend to be extremely blushed, right? The pairing is listed right in the title. It is one of our Hellfire projects to a super pastel axanthic. So these are all behead axanthic. No visuals in the axanthic. There you are. That's a man, oh man. We're going to cut this open just a little more. Sorry, little buddy. See, that one's got some blushing I'm seeing through there, a little bit there, and a little bit there. But man, oh man, I have to wait till that's out. Because that's a combo, that's a combo. Didn't think we'd see enough in the egg to call anything. And like I say, if we were able to call anything from this, it would be either it's definitely not pastel line, or the, I mean, that would be the thing we could definitely call. There's another one that's not. And there'll be no single gene Hellfires in here. That's pastel. Because there can't be. Everything has to have pastel. These are the type of clutches we were wanting to do to prove this one way or the other. Next year, we should be able to try for a Hellfire to Hellfire. well, there's the head of one, but it ain't gonna matter because that head's a pastel head. So what I mean by that, y'all, is, well, you can see this head, and it's blushed, but not super blushed. That's just a straight pastel. So that head is what a pastel should look like. Give you a little bit better view of that. You can see it's blushed. Probably can't get a really good view of my hand in the way, so you have to kind of trust me. Well, I'm going to be able to take the phone now and work it some different ways. There we go. So what are we looking at? This one here, definitely probably just a pastel. Nothing else in there. See the color of these two, how much lighter it is? I think that's going to be your combos. Here's a great difference. Well, not really. There you can really see the difference in the color between a normal. That's going to have the other gene in it. And then this one's just a normal. Pretty certain. Or not a normal. When I say normal, no, I'm talking about pastel. So, let me put that up there. I'm ready for the weekend because we are going to be, I don't know if I guess I should turn this back on me, shouldn't I? I don't know if I said anything or not. We're going to be back in Tulsa for a show this weekend. So August 20th, make sure and come out and see us. If you haven't seen us before, we'll be there selling snakes on that Sunday at a Cold-Blooded Expo. So I'll do some social media posting as soon as I'm done here about that. But hopefully these will be out of the eggs, and hopefully we'll have some answers because there will be a single gene Hellfire project. Again, project. I'm not saying for sure what we got yet at the show for sale. So it will be there. How many snakes are in my collection? Fuck, I don't even know. I'll be honest. I mean, I think last time we counted, well, there's 30 tubs there full. Those have some empties now because we've been moving stuff over here. So there's probably 42. I think those are both full, 52, 62, 72, 82. Oh, there's like another probably 40 over here, roughly, or probably 35. Then there's a bunch more over there. I don't know. And there's the venomous room. There's some venomous in here. And that doesn't include the babies. So there's a lot. Well, that may actually change, Alex. I don't remember what our last posted price was. And it was a female. I will say that I do remember that. Depending on what crawls out of here, it could change. And what I mean by that is it's priced at a point where it's a project. It's not priced as something that is 100% new. We're not pricing those things at 10K or anything like that. And if we proved 100% new, I probably wouldn't, to be blunt. I don't know what I'd price it at, but it'd go up. So if these crawl out of the egg before then, and I'm 100% certain that I can stand on it being a new gene, price could go up. If I was more convinced it was another line of pastel, the price would probably go down from what it is. So that's kind of where that's at. And it was in the 4-digit range right now, but it wasn't stupid, because I'm not trying to fuck people over. That's not my goal, so, and I'm always really clear about what it is. Man, that is a funky looking snake, but some super pastels are pretty funky. I just wish I could see a head, because that's what we're really looking for, right? Oh, well, that's awesome, Matthew. Well, hit me up. We've got that one, and we may have another one, and then we'll be parting with some more this year. So this year we're going to have probably 2 Hellfire clutches. This one and another one. We were going to have 3, but I think that female reabsorbed was from a male, so we're probably going to have the 2, unfortunately. Next year we'll have 2 females, and we'll be using a male a little bit harder. We were able to use a male on 1 female last season. It was actually 2 separate males we rotated through, just to be really gentle on them because they were smaller males and we didn't want to breed them hard. They were just getting the size. But this coming year we'll be able to breed that male like we would normally breed. So that'll be nice, and he will get to put in some work. 2 of them. I mean, we're going to really push that through some things and see what we get. You'll probably see it put to a lot of recesses unless we know. If I find out here that it's new, you'll probably see it put to some incomplete dominant stuff. Otherwise, you'll probably see it put to, who knows what I'll put it to. But we have to get these supers out. I will definitely be putting a Hellfire to a Hellfire. There's no doubt about that. To see what they look like together. That's going to happen. And yeah, I think that's about right. I think that's kind of where we were. I can't remember if we were at 3,500 or 2,500 or 3. It was somewhere in that neighborhood. But like I say, it can change as this information changes. Information is money. And if I have new information, that can dictate the price. It's just, how it goes. Now, that's, yeah. To the show me in Springfield, when is it? And so far, I am not. But maybe. And let me say something too. When I say information can dictate price, understand that if you had bought a Hellfire and it's sitting here or something and you were still paying on it, and all of a sudden I prove it's new, your price doesn't change. It's going to stay what you bought it at. We're not those kind of assholes. So whatever deal we make doesn't magically change if we've made the deal. It's set there. It's in stone. But I don't know, man. I'm kind of can't wait to see this crawl out. Especially this one. This one's just got a really cool pattern to it. I just wish I could see its head, and I can't. I can't. That's a bummer. So what is the next step? Well, let's say these are not 100% distinguishable. About was that on a forum on Facebook maybe, where somebody said, "Hey, I found out this is female, so the price is now this." Yeah, we don't do that. Others can do their business how they want, not how I do it. A lavender albino, we do have that ability with one of our females, but I'm not. I don't know yet. Here's how we kind of pick our breeding, guys. We'll sit down one day next month, likely, because we start breeding the end of October. So we'll sit down either sometime, mid to late September or mid-October, somewhere in that neighborhood, and we'll have pairing day. And on pairing day, we'll clean off all the writing you see on the tubs, right? Fresh start it, and we'll go through and spend several hours picking our pairings. And then we'll lock it down, and then we're ready to start. And once we cast that die, we leave it cast unless there's a medical thing that were to change it, like a male not doing well or something like that. But once we make our plan, we try to stick to it. Because, I'd rather stick to a plan than not have one, even if the plan sucks. So that's kind of how, when you run a team, a bad plan is better than no plan, everybody doing their own shit. So we tend to stick to a plan. And we'll get that rolling about then. So that way we can truly, just go through it and pick it. But that's kind of that. So I don't know what we're going to do yet, but I do know, I just use chalk pens. They look like this, like chalk markers. They work great. They wash off really easy. You can do with a little bit of water, the little streak. I usually do like a Windex, just whoosh, takes it right off. Not really a Windex, it's a non-Windex glass cleaner, like a non-ammonia kind of thing. But anyway, we will definitely do a Hellfire to Hellfire, because if this isn't completely distinguishable, no matter even if it is, from a super pastel, if we can't look at that and look at this like these are two entirely different snakes, this is new, then we will end up doing that. One of these, I'll tell you before I even get to Patreon, these probably won't see the light of day for sale, or if they do, only one will, because obviously one of the biggest steps to proving if this is another line of pastel or a lilac with pastel, let's say it's entirely different, right? If it's entirely different, then there's always a chance that it's a lilac still, because it does do some similar things. We want that answer. There's been nothing else really found to be a lilac with pastel, but that doesn't mean nothing is. Think about some of the things that have been found a lilac after a long time, like what was it? Like not black pastel and Enchi, but like Enchi and something I believe are, and all the things in the complex that with like spider and blackhead, things like that, right? Enchi and black pastel. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Took the words out of my mouth. So with that, we'll want to take one of these, that's a 2-gene combo, and breed it to something that has no pastel or Hellfire in it to see if it passes on to everything. Because that would also provide a solid answer, right? If it's a 2-gene combo and this is pastel, or another line of pastel, when we raise this male, if one of them's male up and breed it, it would have to pass that on 100% of the time. The other thing is we would need to be able to pick out with pretty good, pretty good ease a difference in a Hellfire and a Pastel. So that's where we're at. How does Patreon work with selling on there? I believe you said before you let others post on there as well. I'm just curious if it would benefit me. I just use Morph Market now to sell. So here's how Patreon works for selling. When you join Patreon, you'll have access to our Discord. Discord has many a channel on it, and it's a very active Discord for the amount of people we have. We like it that way. It's your Discord. It's not something actually Anna Mountain Pythons is on here. She pretty well runs that Discord for me. I don't set the rules unless there's something I really need to deal with, which is very, very, very rare. People play really nice on there. One of the tabs on Discord is going to be the for sale. So you will be able to post what you have there. The nice thing about it, obviously, it is a, it's awesome. Thanks, Jessica. It's not going to be as big of a reach as Morph Market is, right? I mean, Morph Market's got thousands and thousands of people. We have, a couple hundred plus. It's not meant to be that big of a reach, but it's meant to give you an opportunity to sell to somebody that you talk to, somebody that somebody that knows you because you've been chit-chatting with them or talking with them or sharing things on the Discord and have that shared community. And that's a little bit more fun, right? And it's also a little bit more trustworthy. So that's where it's at. It's made to be a benefit, but we're not trying to make a new sales forum. We allow people to buy and sell on there. We encourage that. We want that to happen, which sounds really stupid. If you think that that's my sales platform, I shouldn't allow anybody else to sell on there. I should be the only one doing this. I should make money, right? But the truth of the matter is, I want to build community and good community and community that likes each other. I want a community who stays even if they get tired of my dumbass. Okay, that's what I'm after. And so we allow the buy and sell on there, 100%. And it's kind of we don't monitor it unless it's a problem. If we found somebody on there and it was brought to my attention who was obviously like trying to scam or something like that, they would be booted. The other thing, we've never had that. Absolutely never had that. We've never had anybody that had a boot for that. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, I agree, Python addiction. And, people do. We've almost had a wedding on there once. That was kind of crazy. We've had a lot of people make some lifelong friends. We've had people step up when others have had tragedy strike in that community and help each other out. We've had all kinds of things like that happen. And it's amazing. And it goes well beyond what I would be capable of doing myself. So, thank you. I appreciate that. Carranza, I hope I say that right every time. I think I say it different every time. And Alex says, so if I was on your Discord, I could send a picture of list of what I have for sale on the for sale section. I could just send pictures of my ads from Morph Market. I don't post on the Discord for the for sale section because mine has a different spot. I am a little bougie like that, and we're going to actually change how mine is done. Anna might be, if she's still around, better at answering that question than I am on how those posts usually go. I can tell you I've bought from there before. I've had Caleb point out things I personally bought off of my own Discord before. It's worked out really well for me. But yeah, you can post a list of here's what I've got with some pictures if you want or whatever. I mean, it's just kind of an open page for posting that. And some people post what they're looking for. If you've got something that fills that need, go for it. It's fully allowed. Here's what I'd recommend, okay? Here's what I'll tell you. Go to our Patreon, select a tier, at least a $5 tier. Remember, if you do the $1 tier, which should be filled up anyway, it will not let you do that, right? But select a $5 tier. Understand there's a free 7-day trial with that. So select that. Look at the Discord, make sure you get on there and look at it and see how it works and see if it's something you like, something you'd be into. See how active the community is. And then you can decide, hey, man, and you can see the extra content we put, and you can decide if that's worth your 5, 10, or how much ever you want to support, because different tiers come with different levels. For instance, if you really believed in the Hellfire project and you were sitting there at the top tier for a while, you'd be able to get a huge percentage off of one of these that would pay for your tier, like 35%, I believe it is right now. So that's what I would really suggest, Alex, is take the free trial, man. That's why we turned on the free trial, is so people like you who are kind of on the fence can do it, right? So, and the snakes I have for sale. So what we do right now is we post a list once every couple months or something. Pills was laying around of a big for sale list, and then Anna will post the pictures up. However, I'm going to meet with Anna this month, and that's why I haven't posting for a while on there. And we are going to change how we do that. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to look yet. The idea is more of a living document that's always pinned at the top, and I'll just notify when we're going to add stuff and make changes and repost that thing. So it just gets edited, and then people can request pictures or whatnot to get our animals for sale quicker and have a more accurate list of what's actually there. Because right now, one of the problems is we post something, and then the next list we post is entirely different. Maybe somebody came and was looking for this, and now it's going into our bin to take to shows because it's not still there. So we want to make it there, maybe even searchable, maybe even, I don't know how the fuck we're going to do all that, but we're going to look into it to try to make a better experience for people wanting to buy from us. So, yeah, and Char's right. I mean, we've even had events. COVID kind of kicked us in the fucking teeth, and then me being so busy kind of slowed it down too, to be honest, because I was at a point where I had 3 jobs. Because I was leaving a long-term career and going to a new career. Well, I'm done with my long-term career. I took my month-long sabbatical. I'm at my new career now. So now I'm doing a lot of learning and some time on that. But we do a lot. There's local tabs, so you can see what's in your local area. If you're going to a local show, and you look for somebody to go hang out with or whatnot, or you're vending, you can post that. Local people come check you out too. So, and easy to export at priceless at a moment's notice. That's what we're kind of hoping to do somehow. I'm not sure we'll do it. We've talked about doing Google Docs because we would need to update it as soon as somebody buys something too, which means I would need access to it, Caleb would need access to it, and so would Kurt, because it needs to take that one off, and then we need to put it to another list. Like, I want to have basically 2 lists at all times. It's my thought process. A list that's what's for sale on Patreon, and then a list over here of what's been posted. I guess I could use one list, and so I'm taking it off of this list here because it's sold. Like I said, I need to have a list of what needs to be moved, because once it's on this list, it is also eligible for sale at shows. We're going to post it here first, but what's over here will be able to be taken to shows. But if you guys want it, you get it, and we take it off. That's kind of how that's going to work. So, oh, awesome! I'm glad to hear that, Matthew. That's great. Welcome aboard. And we're going to do some more stuff with it. Honestly, guys, for the last year, right? It has been a fucking, see you, David. It has been a fucking crazy thing in my life, I mean, we'll get into as much detail as you guys want sometime. But, I spent 25 years doing law enforcement work. And if I were to tell you that didn't put some kind of stamp and something in my soul, I would be lying, Now, I wasn't working in like Blue Line Wharfs, God bless his soul, and NYC and all that crazy shit. But, I wasn't working in the small town I grew up in either, where I took 2 barking dog calls a day. I ran the gamut of everything. Not, there's not a lot that I didn't deal with at some point in my career, whether it was, mutilated humans, some on their own, some by others. We weren't a place that had a homicide every day or anything. When I first started, we didn't have a homicide every year. And by the time I left, we were having multiple every year, A lot of domestic violence things, a lot of, I dealt with sex crimes over the years, child crimes at times. You name it, I've dealt with it, right? And that sticks with you. That's there. And it was time for me to make a change, and I made it. And that's allowing me to do a lot of things and cleanse some of that out. That will always be with me to an extent, and but I often describe people like this. Everybody comes with a garbage can, right? And that garbage can, we throw stuff in there all the time, and your garbage can is only so big. We don't all have the same size garbage can, Some of us have a smaller can, some have a bigger can. But when your garbage can gets filled, once it starts to overflow, then it starts to affect your daily life, because you got too much trauma and garbage and bullshit in there, right? And there's some things you can do to compress that down. You can't really ever get rid of your garbage. It's not like trash you just take out and it's gone. Trauma's not like that. You can squish it down some, you can do some counseling things and kind of deal with it, maybe compress it and everything else. Not like compress it, like make it go away, but, learn how to deal with it. But there's more trauma you pile on it, it's always going to be there. So my can got pretty full, and it was time for me to do something else. And now the trauma I deal with will be the normal trauma everybody else deals with. and it's fucking amazing. It's not very much trauma anymore, So it was a great run. I had a blast doing it. I got to do a lot of really cool shit, worked with a lot of really cool people. I wouldn't trade it for the world, It's pretty fortunate that I never got hurt bad, bumps and bruises and scratches and scrapes and whatnot, but nothing major. And so I'm out there with most of my health other than my back, and that's healing. Actually, I feel a lot better already because I'm not carrying that belt and that gear all the time and rigid setting as I had to be. So it's a life-changing thing for me. You know what the hardest thing is? Going from a career in law enforcement to a more, I don't know what you call it, kind of career, like a sales career, I guess, was I have to learn. I'm still learning this. This is going to sound really funny because I'm 40 fucking 2, but I have to learn how to dress. And what I mean is when you've woke up every day since you were 18, which is my world, right? And you've had a uniform to put on of some sort, whether it was an in-house uniform when I did emergency dispatch stuff to cop uniforms until I was 21. No matter what it was, you put that on, you were told what to wear, you were told how everything went, you do it this way. And now you're coming out and you're like, I don't even know how to pair the right pants and shirt. Fuck, I don't even own enough dress shirts, like collared shirts and things like that. I've had to spend the last 6 months clothes shopping. I'm starting to find out I kind of like it. It's kind of weird. I didn't think I would, but I kind of do. It's kind of nice to look snazzy every now and then. But anyway, that was kind of the weirdest thing for me. And I've had to get new shoes because I didn't need shoes. I need a pair of tennis shoes. I had my fucking work boots. What else do I need? Now it's not like that. That has been one of the bigger changes in my life. So now I go to work, I come home, I take off my fancy clothes, put on my comfort clothes, come and do this shit. It's a whole different ball of wax. All right, guys, I probably ought to hop off of here now and slide over to Patreon and talk to them a little bit about this Hellfire project and what we're doing there. I'll tell you what I've been wearing the most, Python Addiction, is there are like some pretty decent looking Skechers that are the memory foam insoles. Oh my god, it is amazing. Double visuals on what, Alex? Talking about recessives? Yeah, we did do a True Ghost once, but unfortunately it was a failure to thrive, and we've done some snows. We hope to do some more snows. We're working on things like lightning pied. When I do shit like that, I like to do it myself, and I don't like to just buy the doubles and then cheat. I mean, it's not cheating. I like to work the project. I find it fascinating to work the project. So some of it's going to take a while because we like to work that project, starting with just the 2 recessives, making our own double heads and working that way. So, and some of that, because we started it so long ago, our double heads are literally just that, double heads. There's nothing extra in there. Or Pied will be in the same boat because, well, I don't like a lot of shit with Pied personally other than banana. Banana Pieds are awesome. You start mixing other stuff, I think it just doesn't improve the look always. Personally, it's a personal opinion. All right, guys, let me hop up off of here. For those who are new to Patreon, we're going to post it. We'll post a link. We'll put the link in the comments. You can copy, paste the link, or just touch the link, whatever works for you, and you'll be able to see us there. And the Discord link, Dessa Farms, if you join Patreon, you should be able to just go to Discord on it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Go to Discord, and if you use the same email to sign up for Discord that you used to sign up for Patreon, then you should be able to automatically, it should just boop magically. And if you ever leave, it'll boop kick you out, I think is how it's supposed to work. But if you have problems, just make a note on there, and Anna will always help you to get that fixed because she's a badass. All right, guys, thanks for chit-chatting with me. I'm going to hop up off of here, slide over to Patreon, where we can discuss what's going to happen with these guys. We'll see. Oh, thank you, Dennis. We'll see y'all.